Hi there. Today I found some extra spam in my pantry and I thought, hey, why don't I make musubi? And I will also use this mold to make nigiri. Today we're going to use seaweed nori. We're also going to use umeboshi and of course the spam. I'm going to be using a low salt or lower salt spam. I think it tastes very similar. I can't really tell the difference. The other thing that I'm going to use is a mold for that's normally used for nigiri. I'll make some little musubis, I think. And this will save you from having to doing them by hand as you normally do. I think it's going to be fun. To tell you the truth, I've never used spam for musubi. Actually, I had never made musubi. So we're doing it together for the first time. Let's see how this thing comes out. Okay. And it's finally out. I'm going to make regular slices or the slices that I normally see in musubi. And then I'll also cut smaller pieces to use with the nigiri mold. I'm trying to figure out how to cut it so that I don't waste any of the spam. I will just cut 3 slices for the regular size musubi. And then do smaller slices for the nigiri. I think a lot of people bought spam as well as other proteins due to the pandemic. They wanted to have their pantries well stocked. And now they're realizing that, hey, maybe I have a little too much. What do I do with it? At least that is my case. So I decided to try this and see how it works. And I just remember that I had a Chinese friend that used to make fried rice with spam, and it was actually really good. Maybe we can try and make that recipe on another video, although I imagine there's a lot of videos of fried rice out there. Now we're going to cook the spam a little bit. It's actually already cooked, but we're going to heat it up and give it a little color. For that, I'm putting it on the pan with no oil because this has plenty of fat, so it doesn't need any more. It doesn't need to cook very long, just until it picks up a little bit of color. At this point, you can dip it in a little bit of teriyaki sauce and put it back in the pan. I don't have any, so I've mixed some soy sauce, sugar, and a little bit of mirin wine because that's all I have. Let's put this together. I have to cut the nori so that I can wrap the musubi with it. So I'm gonna kind of guide myself with the can. As I am cutting the seaweed, I'm wondering what am I going to use as a mold, and I thought, well, maybe I can use the can, but I'm not sure how to get it out if I put the rice in there. So I think I'm going to use some plastic wrap and see how that works. I'm going to split this one in two and use it for the nigiri. I'll stick the plastic wrap inside the can. I haven't wiped, I left the fat in there, the fat that was in the can, because I think that will help release the plastic wrap later better. You can actually do this with just plain sushi rice. You don't have to use seasoned sushi rice. But just in case, I've made the rice in a couple of other videos, so I'm just going to put the recipe below. The plastic is nicely set in there, so I'm going to fill it with rice. I normally don't like to press the rice very much, but if I don't, it'll probably come apart, so I'm just going to press it until it feels that it's solid. The other idea I had was to lay some rice on the cutting board, press it and shape it, flatten it, and then use the can as the cookie cutter to have the shapes for the musubi. I think this is ready, flat enough. I'm going to lay a piece of Spam in there. And normally that'll be it, but I think I'm going to play with it a little bit, and I'm going to add another layer of rice. Basically make a musubi sandwich. I think this is ready. So now let's see if we can take it out in one piece. It comes out pretty easily. Now probably press it a little bit, make sure that it's nice and tight. And here it is, nicely shaped. I'm gonna wet my hands so that it doesn't fall apart when I pick it up. On the other hand, if your hands are too wet, you'll make the seaweed soggy, so that's not good. So I keep wetting and drying as I go. And make sure you put the rough side of the seaweed against the rice. And there you go. All done. It's not the classic musubi, but I think it's cute. We'll do the classic now. Since we don't have a mold, and in case for whatever reason we don't want to use the can of Spam, let's mold one by hand. Let's see how it comes out. And there's no way you can do this with dry hands. Even wetting your hands, you still get rice all over the place, and that's just the nature of it. And I also wanted to mention that even though you should keep your board clean, there's these little bits and pieces of seaweed around that it will get into the rice, and keeping in mind that everything we're using is cooked, there shouldn't be too much of a problem as far as food safety. I think we have the shape good enough. Now let's get the musubi finished. And this is the classic way for musubi, just the rice, the Spam, and then it's wrapped on the seaweed. I always forget that once you place the rice on the seaweed, you better be sure that's where you want it, because sometimes it's really hard to get it unstuck. I often use rice, a couple of grains of rice to stick the two sides of the nori or seaweed together, and that works well. And that's it, done. Now we're going to use the nigiri mold. I guess you'll call this musubi nigiri. I'm going to fill it really well, because otherwise I don't want to take a chance for it to be loose. So I'm going to press it well. I found this mold in a Japanese sort of like dollar store. Actually, it was more like a $1.50 store. Now we put the lid on and press well. So far so good. Now there is a There's a part on the back of the mold that is open. They're like little flaps, and I think you're supposed to press on there and they should come out easily. Yep, they are coming out really nicely. Working pretty well. Yep, looks good. On this nigiri or musubi, however we want to call it, I'm going to add some of the pickled plum, because I think they'll cut a little bit of the fattiness of the spam. Now I'm going to top it with the small pieces of spam. Oh, they're looking kind of cute. Now let's wrap them. As always, the first one or two are practice, and by then you get the hang of it, and then they should come out fine. And rice sticks to everything. In my last video, I think I had a grain of rice on my hand the whole time. As with the other musubi, I use a little grain of rice to stick the seaweed together. And of course, if you don't have this mold, you just do them by hand, just like you do nigiri. I think you get the idea. Don't need to watch me make all 5 of them. And here they are. They're like nice little packages. I'm going to top them with a thin slice of jalapeno, just for fun. There you go, musubi nigiri. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.